Hello, guys. I believe we can start. So please.
Hi. So let's start, right? Okay. That's a session about Drupal security, all vulnerabilities, and we will all together write some nice and secure Drupal code, right? So let me introduce myself a little bit. I'm Balazs, used to be called Captain Reject, don't ask me. And I'm working with Drupal since 2007, and there are many roles that I'm taking. Currently, what makes sense and the most important for us is to be a provisional member in the Drupal security team, and also a very nice person, an active mentor in the mentoring community group. So I hope to see you all tomorrow at the contribution day. And also, yeah, I have other stuff. So I'd like to see some hands who love DrupalCamp Kiev. There you go. That's great. I didn't say you can put down the hand, so let me see it again. Who is a site builder, building sites? And they are like, oh, okay, great. Ooh, lots of people, that's great. There is a cat. Cats are always important. Let me make some demo, right? Because the site builders are kind of the people who create sites and builds them, but they are sometimes not aware of security issues that they sometimes create on websites. So you see a Drupal 7 sites here, which is basically about, oh, I don't have the code, which is basically a simple Drupal 7 standard. Yeah, just come in, all. And you see a test article, and if I go there, I'm not logged in. So I'm taking a look here. Do you see that? Okay, full HTML. It's obviously not the best thing if you allow to any anonymous people, unauthenticated ones, to put there any kind of script stuff. Because they might inject you something which we call cross-site scripting. And the website is quite slow, but you see there is a pop-up. Most of the people think about this issue is kind of stupid. The thing is, I need internet, which I don't have. That's great. So there will be, from the slides, a bunch of JavaScript stuff. I hope I have internet now. Oh yeah, I have. So most of the times you think about XSS, it's just a pop-up, doesn't really matter, right? If I go to the same page and I just inject a little bit more text, basically I can do everything than what you are just doing all around clicking crazily on a website. So I just inject this one. Okay, there is still the XSS, and nothing really happened. Even if I visit the website again, it's just fine. But the thing is, when there is an admin who visits that page and goes crazy because, wow, there is a new comment on the site, let me see. There was the XSS, forget that. But the second one also got executed. What happens here, you don't really see that, right? Or do you? Right? Okay, you think it's Drupal 7 because it's old and it got so many things. No, not really. Drupal 8 has the same, if it works. There are other examples also on the gist, so you might check it up later. If it works, I mean, come on, there you go. So basically the same mistake happened on this website, and I just put there the nice script stuff without wasting so much time and smiling to the camera. Great, take the picture about the screen. I'm not that nice. So Drupal 8, XSS, boom, there you go. Okay, so you think it was one issue with the core, or it was, or it might have been an issue with XSS. No, not really. We call it security misconfiguration. The website got wrongly configured. Let me see some hands who are developers or maintainers of contrib modules. Show your hand. Wow, that's great. Lots of people. Yet another question, have you attended, and just show your hands, who did on a previous session that I gave many times before with the same title. Anyone? Ooh, too many. Anyway, so it's officially the 10th edition, so it's kind of an anniversary for me. And there is a nice memory that I got after Drupal Europe as a tweet. I was showing a diagram since 2010, how many Drupal versions related issues got discovered and patched by individuals and managed to be announced by the Drupal security team. Yeah, you don't really see that, but it's, oh, I can do that. Can I? Oh, yeah. So with this, basically the person who tweeted that thought, according to that graph, Drupal 5 is the most secure one ever. Not really. Yeah, and we love the cats still. So let's go to some trends that we have in security. Basically, OWASP, which turns to Open Web Application Security Project, says in 2013, those are the top 10 most serious issues regarding web technologies that are discovered, that are exploited. And as you can see, in the very first, the injection, such as remote code execution, such as similar SQL injections, those are basically the most secure ones. After 4 years, in 2017, 2 years ago, or like 1.5 years ago, they created the top 10 again, just to raise some awareness for all of us to learn and to understand what are the new threats. Basically, most of them stayed very serious. Some of them got merged. There are new ones, for example, the XXE, which got totally new, newly developed and newly introduced, and there are many other things. What we know, oh yeah, remember security misconfiguration. It's also a top 10 issue. So those issues are known, those issues are usually exploited. So if you configure your website based on best practices, you know, like best ones, wrongly, then your website most probably will be just exploited. What we have in Drupal then, the statistics are a little bit different. So most of the issues, like half of them, are XSS based. So it means for us, Drupal core is way more secure than just the web applications all around the globe, because we only have arbitrary code execution, like 4% of all. I don't even see, yeah, there is 5% of the SQL injections, like those ones, and many other types of issues we meet in Drupal. We are talking about 3 more important ones to learn how it goes, namely XSS, access bypass, and SQL injection. Let's see. The first is the cross-site scripting, what we've seen in the beginning. So basically, it's a client-side vulnerability coming from unfiltered output. So basically, when something goes to the output, you always have to sanitize it. Please never, ever, ever trust any user input, because they can be dangerous. And we have seen the demo before. In Drupal 7, we have a few layers, such as based on the type of text that we get, which can come as a URL having some bad protocols or dangerous ones, then going all the way down to a trusted user input, which might be from a programming technique or might come from somewhere where it is already sanitized. Based on all the inputs and the types, you might end up using check URL, plain markup, or just a plain filter XSS before you put all the text and data to the HTML, usually HTML output. In Drupal 8, everyone loves and knows Twig, right? In Twig, we have basically three sort of easier way to sanitize things, but until you don't use the raw, then you are just fine. Sometimes you still have to use some sanitization. Okay, here comes the bingo, because everyone loves to play. Rules are super easy. Everyone, okay, there is no bag, but anyway, everyone got a paper that you just see on the seats, okay? The small ones, okay? Those are called, yeah, those ones. Those are called Drupal vulnerability bingo. The thing is, if there is a bingo, there has to be a prize. Because I live in Belgium, and one of the best ever chocolate comes from Belgium. The winner who shouts first today, bingo, after checking, so I'm not like, oh, bingo, and giving it away. No, we are gonna check it, okay? Will win a box of very nice Belgian chocolate. We are gonna check a few things. I'm either going to show you snippets, code snippets, or something like a sentence, and you will use the other cards that you get. Sorry, I didn't have that amount of cards, the greens and the red ones, to sort of vote for the questions that I'm gonna show, okay? So if you feel the thing that I say is just true, show me the green one. If you feel the thing that I'm gonna show is vulnerable or just not correct or has some issues, please show me the red, okay? Let's see. Here is the first one. It's Drupal 7. We got a field formatter view somewhere in a custom module implemented, right? And we iterate on all the items, and we somehow decided to use the img tag, HTML tag, and put the src and the alt to the output like it is written. You might end up saying with the exclamation mark and with the @ characters, there can be some issues. I let you vote now. There is a red. Wow, there are everywhere red cards. Great, so we feel it's not correct, right? Because the thing is here with the exclamation mark will never sanitize that value that just can come from any user input. And we agreed all user inputs has to be sanitized. So we just have to use the @ Great. I'm gonna show you the first number, which is number 12. I feel like in a game, like who wants to be a millionaire? Okay, 12. Please mark the 12. Only the ones who answered well, please. But I saw everyone did, so it's great. Let's go further. We have in a TPL file still remaining in Drupal 7 a variable that is $URL. Imagine it's a URL, okay? It's not rocket science. And we want to use basically a check URL on the URL variable that will be present or will be printed as an HTML tag. What do you think? Is it correct using it like this? I'm not talking about best practices. Do not do that in a TPL file. It's quite creepy, yeah? But still, can be there any vulnerabilities or not? Let me see some cards. Green ones. All right, I see red ones. I love to argue. Great. Anyone? Why is it red? Anyone? Tell me, there had to be a reason why you chose the red. I saw a red somewhere there. Could you tell me? Just shout. Okay. You are also not that right, is it red, right? It's just fine. Do not do that because it doesn't really follow a best practice in Drupal 7, but still this is not vulnerable. Only the ones who chose the green one, please mark number 4. Let's go further. We all love Drupal 8, aren't we? So I'm showing you a Drupal 8 example, that one. So the thing is, okay, everyone went crazy with the number 4, great. So we check something iterating again, asking for some content, and we want to get a body field. Yeah, forgive me, it's like a body field, so can be a rich text, and we are just asking the get value method on that. And then we go a little bit deeper using a something custom theme and just throwing the whole body out to the output a little bit later. Is it good or not? There can be some issues or not. I see a few green cards. I see a few green cards, but mainly red ones. Yes, it is red. The problem comes from that part. Anyone can fix that right away. Yes, yes. We have to know what is the format, basically, right? The solution here is to use a process text type, and that can handle the format that the user decided to choose according to his roles or her roles, and basically those things all together can go safely to the output. So please, the ones who chose the green, do not mark, but the rest, the number 23. That was all the code. Now I'm showing you some sentences, and please decide, is it correct or not. Drupal 8 allows full HTML to be used by anonymous users. Imagine Drupal 8 as you download it or you check out it or whatever, so the Drupal 8 default, the standard Drupal 8, okay? Is it allowed to those poor, super untrusted users? I can't help more, really. Change it to red, please. Okay. No, it's not correct, because anonymous should not, must not get the full HTML. But authenticated and administrators do have it. And the number is 17. There is still no bingo, I really hope. There is another one. All user inputs must be always sanitized. I can't repeat that sentence again. Is it red or green? Great. Oh, I see there by mistake a red. So you can't take the next number, which is 25. I'm sorry. But all over, there is another cat, so good job. Let's see what we learned and what we know about protection against XSS. Basically, we can use all Behat and automated tests, which I try to advocate anytime, to use basically those 2 examples, which covers about 90 to 95% of XSS issues if you just put those things one by one in a Behat scenario to all user inputs, execute this or hit the save or hit the whatever button just to load or reload the page where those things will be inserted. Then if there is a pop-up, then you are basically vulnerable, and fix it. Check your filters and user roles, obviously, and do not give too many options to untrusted users, which is important here to mention. Who can be considered trusted and or untrusted users? Usually it depends on business, but you are all developers. You know that much better sometimes than the business. So if the business says all anonymous should use full HTML, please remind that dear business, no, you are not right. Unfortunately, I am the technical person. I'm telling you, you should not give that possibility to your anonymous, untrusted users, because it is vulnerable. Next, access bypass. The issue is here to have or to be able to do things on a website or just access resources or different things. For instance, menu items can be defined to be accessed or denied, and there are many access systems in Drupal 7, 8, and also later. For instance, node entity, field views, and so on and so forth. Bingo. Bingo? No bingo. Here comes an example. Okay? So we have, it's Drupal 7, but something similar can be written in Drupal 8, even though we don't have the node table there anyway. So Drupal 7. Imagine we are using DB select here, and we want to get all the articles and the title and the node ID out of them. And we just thrown the results. Is that correct? Wow. Basically, only one person will check the number. Yeah, so, okay, two. Sorry, no. Please, in these cases, always use the node access. Because the problem here is you are putting all data, such as titles, to your dear users, and you can't be sure those dear users have access to those articles. Because those articles might be unpublished or might have other restrictions like organic groups. Do you remember? If you use node access in every cases, such as here, you can be sure only the titles that the user has access to it will be visible. Great, guys. Yeah, I see people are marking 29. Why? I mean, you said it's correct. I mean, seriously, don't mark the 29. I remember. Okay, here comes the next one. Say it. Yeah, that's basically gambling. So you answered fine, but you don't have the 29. Yeah, sorry, dude. So the next one is Drupal 8 in a YML file when we define a not found URL or path, yeah? And we use basically a requirement here, which is access true. So it means all users can access a 404 page. Like, focus, 404. Is that correct or not? And now I see many reds, or what? Okay, great. I still see a few reds. Let me ask why. It's just correct, by the way. Why? Why it could be wrong? Is there a typo? No, hopefully. Which one?
Should this class be quoted because it's used slashes?
Where?
Yeah, in the controller, default
the controller.
Yeah. We use slashes.
Here.
Yes.
It's just fine. Yeah, should be in quotes.
It should be correct, no?
Yeah, possible. Okay, you can take the number. I hope you don't have the 16. But great, thanks. But vulnerability type or security perspective is just good, right? So we can rely and give permission or access to a 404 page to poor anonymous. Okay, 16. Here comes a sentence. All users on Drupal X, so 7, 8, whatever, sites belong to at least 2 user roles. At least means minimum, just to be sure. Is it green or red? Okay, mainly red. Okay, let me ask the ones who said green. What are those 2 roles, please, dear? So one could be the anonymous role. That's for sure. Everyone has that non-authenticated user role. Everyone gets it. But which one is the other one? If the person is logged in, yes. But there are the anonymous people. Those are also the so-called UID 0. And I say all users. Yeah, I know. So it's not correct. Sorry. because at least one user role. So the ones who said green, please take the number 22. Still no bingo. Yeah, yeah. Who answered well, basically. Okay, here comes another one. That's a tricky one, so let's read it together. Restricted permissions make Drupal sites more secure by calling restrict permission method. Or in Drupal 7, the same name stays function. Is it correct or it is not? Okay, I see like altogether 4 cards, all of them are red. What is about the rest of the people? You got bored by all these things, right? Let me see some cards. What do you think? Like, based on impression. Green, red, great, okay. Random, letters, no. This is not correct. I mean, seriously, there is no restrict permissions. That method just doesn't exist in Drupal. What the restricted permissions do is basically raising awareness on the permissions page to not give that particular permission to untrusted user roles. There is a warning under all of them. Sorry, dudes. Here comes the number 6. Great, still no bingo. Do you know how, how the bingo works? So like one line, all the numbers, one column, all the numbers, or Xing all the numbers. That's a bingo. So if at the end, because I'm using all the numbers in this session, if no one will shout bingo, I will be like, just throwing the chocolate away. Okay? So that was 6. Huh? No. So, Drupal 8 allows users to mistype their passwords unlimited times. There you go. Everyone turned on. Everyone says incorrect because it's incorrect. The question is, how many times? 5. Super. I mean, that's great. Okay, number 9. Still no bingo. Great. I mean, I'm happy, huh? I got my chocolate still. So, how we can make sure our websites are protected against access bypass? Basically, if you visit like a manual check, all node pages or other URLs that has parameters coming from user inputs even, use again behat and automated tests. There are the things that we already saw, node access, entity access, and all access systems in Drupal, and also some menu definitions should be rechecked. And user access for permissions if you want to do something super custom. The next one and the last topic will be, yes, we are all afraid of that, the SQL injection. What we know about it is basically everything, even the cats know what is SQL injection. Basically, it's an unauthorized access to database resources, whatever database resources. We just call them like this. Again, the recommendation generically is here to not trust any user input, but compare it with XSS. Here comes the second part when you get a user input. So when those inputs reaching your system, please also check them. So not only when they go to the output, but when they go in against SQL injection. And most probably most of you who worked with Drupal like 5 years ago heard about that highly critical Drupal 7 security advisory, which was named SA Core 2014-005. You might have heard about it by the name Drupalgeddon. Yeah, we don't like that name. Please do not use. Round 3. Here comes a Drupal 8 beautiful example. We use the database over there. We ask the table called people to delete all names that are, oh yeah, that are like this. Okay, what's the problem with it? It is, of course, red. What's the problem with that? Not only reading from the Placeholders also, but the real problem is the like, because the escape like is not used. So if it's not like, but imagine like equal sign, and still get parameter is there, it's going to be sanitized. But in the case of like, it's not going to be sanitized. So it's red. 31. There is a bingo. Congratulations. Can I see? Can I see the card? Sorry.
Is it correct?
12, 25, 31 was the last one. Yes, congratulations. No. Yeah, 29 was not there.
Yeah, thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Great. So from now on, there are no more prizes. Sorry, please do not leave the room. There are still many things that we have to talk about. Yeah, please. So here comes an example. We are not going to check the numbers anymore. Highly critical Drupal 8 core update remediated an SQL injection vulnerability in 2014. We were just discussing it before. Is that correct or not? Okay, I lost everyone because of the chocolate. Great. I should get a second prize next time. Okay, it's red. Why is it red? Because Drupal 7, exactly. In 2014, when that issue got discovered, Drupal 8 was still not released, basically. It's cute. Okay, 15, cat. Thank you. So what we can do to protect our websites against SQL injection is to always use basically the Drupal Database API, easy as is. DB query, even though can be used in Drupal 8, it's highly not recommended because it already got deprecated. And by the way, in Drupal 9, it's going to be removed. So if you still use DB query, you will make your life so troublesome because you have to rewrite all the things. So please just do not. Filter all the parameters and check the queries in code. That's basically the best because there are not many other tools that can discover SQL injections. Even though you can use that example even from a curl request to check different parameters, to check different calls to your system. So it's kind of cool. There are some more codes. I know you are getting tired, but yeah, that's all. Here comes a code when we generate a password. We iterate basically 8 times, if I see it well over there, so the length 8 times. And using md-rend built-in PHP function to generate something as a random, and from the allowable characters, which is nowhere anyway, just imagine there are allowed or allowable characters, and we just generate that password. Is that correct or not? What do you think? There are red ones? Okay. Let's agree it's red. But what's the problem with it? Sorry? Not secure, yeah, of course, yeah, it's vulnerable. The empty run is the problem, because empty run is not in real-time randomizing and can be guessed. So what we suggest is to please use Drupal random bytes, because we are in Drupal, right? That one. Because it asks the CPU directly via a PHP library, and it will make sure, based on the CPU clock, generating a real-time random number. There was the 8, doesn't matter. Here comes a custom module with the permission YML and the routing. When we say the permission that is defined here, the administer custom module, will be used here to protect that path. Is it correct or not? What do you think? Oh, both. Oh, you think so. Okay. I see not a lot. Yeah, it's green, you think. No. So it's red. because we talk about an administer permission. I mean, it's more semantical problem. If you use an administer, even in custom code, I would really like to ask you, maybe that module will be shared back to the community, especially in that case, the administer permissions always have to be restricted. So if you don't mark those permissions restricted, there will be no warning on the permission page, as we talked about it a little bit before, and people will just not know to give that, I mean, site owners or webmasters who we are taking care of, right? Will just not know that permission should not be given, for instance, to anonymous. And you don't want to end up with that discussion with a business owner. No, I was telling the guy to not give it to him or her or whatever user roles. No, just use the restricted access. It's basically one line. Number 20, doesn't matter. There is another issue, I mean, another snippet, not necessarily an issue, but we talk about a contrib module here. There is an admin path, whatever, contrib settings, and we use the administer site configuration permission here. Is that correct or not? Semantically, is it vulnerable to use that or is it not? Let me ask differently. The administer site configuration by default is a restricted or not permission? It is a restricted, so it's correct. Okay, and only one more because we are running out a little bit of time and I lost my mouse. Oh, great. The very last one. OWASP, that gives the top 10 things, stands for Online Web Authentication Super Project. Yeah, that's my personal favorite. Of course, it's not correct because it stands for something else, right? Open Web Application Security Project. That's all basically. The examples, yeah, I still have a lot. Okay, let's see some security improvements that we got in Drupal 8 quickly. There are many ways why Drupal 8 is more secure for all users, such as the ones that are listed there. There was a session in Vienna DrupalCon back in 2017 that was given by Peter Wolonin, and he was telling all these things. You can check it on the PDF, on the link, why Drupal 8 is more safe. One of my favorite one, and I think you also like it, is the PHP format finally got removed. I mean, that, yeah, clap your hands. I mean, seriously, why it was there. The thing is, what we also can do to raise our knowledge in security in Drupal is to learn by the advisories. I don't say on Wednesday, especially we are mainly from Europe, to check it at midnight when it comes out. I mean, if it's highly secure, you will be warned by, most probably you will be warned by a PSA, public service announcement, by the security team. But still, next day or when you have some free time, check the code change, because the most that you can get out of that is seeing the issue was, for instance, an XSS, and somewhere by the commit, you see what happened. For instance, a check markup got implemented there. Always check the advisories, not just on the Drupal.org page, but also the code. You can learn a lot out of that. And these advisories are advised by the Drupal security team. But the thing is, only advisories go for only and exclusively for stable modules, stable contrib modules that are hosted on Drupal.org or CI, and are not in alpha, beta, all the Greek letters, delta, whatever, and dev versions. And please, maintainers, because I saw lots of hands, if you are contacted because of a security issue on your contrib module, please be responsive and please be supportive and nice with the people who are trying to make your work even more secure. It's never about blaming things. It's never about pointing on you or trying to catch you because you did something wrong. You don't do anything wrong. But still, the Drupal security team has the permission and the right to make things correct. Sometimes we are all people. Sometimes they do things that you will not necessarily like. For instance, if you don't answer in a certain moment, they will just mark your contrib module unsupported. Not the best. There are a few other things that you can use during your daily work, such as the HAGD, the security review on simple test me, or for instance, a project which is a commercial one but still can be used for monitoring activities called DropGuard. And there are also security awareness programs, such as what I'm also running in Europe called Secure Open Source Day, and I'm going to show a slide about that. But because I am wearing a t-shirt, which will happen in less than a month. Drupal Dev Days, Transylvania. It's not so far from here. It's in Romania, Cluj-Napoca, and will take place between 10th and 14th of June. If you are still evaluating cost-wise how you can get there, please ask that nice guy or that nice guy or this nice guy. Because today and I guess tomorrow as well, right? You can get tickets for early bird prices. No, you can't get. What? Normal pricing, sorry. Normal pricing for the last year Dev Days, huh? No, for this year Dev Days, right? Yeah, get it. Okay, it's gonna be amazing. 1 week in the mountains, around Cluj, beautiful area, they say. So let's get there. And also the Secos Day, which will take place in Sofia, Bulgaria, with so many great ladies. Younger ones, older ones, she as well, hopefully. And we are still looking for sponsors, and sessions are open to be proposed. And if there are some questions, I want to twerk. Go ahead. Anyone? I'm going to be here still today and also tomorrow on the contribution day. And if you have anything to ask, I don't have more chocolates, please. I'm just open and would love to answer them all. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and this small prize to remember that you attended
Thank
this DrupalCamp. Thank you. Okay, we have 9 minutes break, and the next one will be community engagement, publishing the contribution funnel. It's Flourish 1 GL, I believe. Starting in 3:20.